Hey YouTube, it's the Test Lead, and today's video is your 2022 pay raise really a pay cut? Is your job ignoring inflation? This video will talk about getting a raise, what is inflation, and then negotiating a raise to combat inflation, and if so, possibly getting a new job. The past couple of months to years have been very challenging for not only companies, but as well as the employees in the companies. But finally, it's that time of year again. Your boss calls you into their office and tells you to take a seat. They discuss what a wonderful job you've done this past year and how they're offering you a raise. They then congratulate you by giving you a 2% raise on your current salary. Inflation. So at first, you are excited about your new raise. You go rushing home, you go to the local grocery store, and you buy a gallon of milk. But then you realize milk has increased in the past year from $3.38 to $3.66, which is about an 8% increase. After that, right before you get home, you fill up your car gas tank with some gas. You look at the gas prices, and it's $4.25 a gallon instead of $3.25 as you can remember last year. So what's going on? What's with all these price increases? What you are seeing is inflation. Remember talking to your grandparents, they said back in their time, they go to a movie and get popcorn and stuff like that, all for like $5. Now you can't leave a movie there without spending $20, $30. You see that price difference? It's still people going into a movie there, but inflation gradually takes place year after year. Inflation is the general increase in prices and therefore the fall in purchasing value of money. Next, your pay raise or your pay cut. Now let's reflect back on that generous 2% raise that your boss gave you this year. Is it really a pay raise when you have less purchasing power at the end of the day? Depending on what you spend your money on, even if you keep your current lifestyle exactly the same, you may have less money at the end of the day. Normally, inflation happens, but over the last couple of months/year or two now, it's gotten a lot worse faster. The inflation for areas such as energy is up over 30% according to the US inflation calculator. So if the majority of purchases are from this category, you feel inflation the most. So even if you make 2% more this coming up year, but the majority of purchases are energy related and you spend 30% more on your bills, then you technically got a pay cut because you have less purchasing power than you did the previous year. So here's the main topic. So what can you do about inflation and your pay? First off, inflation is out of your control. Inflation also affects everybody differently depending on where they spend their money at. There's also a good chance that you provided more value than a 2% raise that your company is offering you. So here are the next steps that you can take. First, realize the categories where you spend your most money at. Go to your credit card statements or your bills and see what categories you spend the most money. And then research the average inflation for this past year for those categories. Next, compare your current raise with these inflation numbers. There's a good chance that the inflation number is higher, but how much higher depends on the person. After that, we're going to search current job listings with your job role or similar job roles and see how much they're getting paid and compare that to your new salary. And now, here's where you can't be afraid. You're going to schedule a meeting with your boss. Your main leverage and negotiation factors are inflation, the current good work you have done. If you haven't done good work, then you can't ask for anything. As well as what other companies are offering for people in your position. Generally speaking, your company should strive to pay for the average salary standard across the board for your industry. So if you're a doctor making only $80,000, but there's other doctors and other hospitals making $150,000, that's a lot of leverage for negotiation because you're being greatly underpaid. So after you finish the meeting, here's the next steps you will take. Analyze the response from the meeting. The worst that can happen is your boss says no. They think that the raise that they gave you is fair enough and you're not losing anything. The next step is they may move your raise from, let's say, 5% to 7%, which may be perfect if your inflation rates for your purchases are around like 6%. Then you're coming out with more purchasing power for the new year. Remember, we're being realistic. If you're offered 5%, there's no way they're going to jump from a 5% raise to a 40% raise over these little factors. And then finally, a lot of people get scared about this, but Don't be afraid to test the waters with other companies. Unfortunately, many companies focus on acquiring new talent instead of keeping the talent that they already have. This is why you see many crazy sign-on bonuses when people join new companies. That's an incentive to join that company. But what incentives do these companies have to retain their employees? So sometimes, depending on your situation, the only way to increase your pay to keep your purchasing power in order is to get a new job. Don't feel bad or guilty for leaving a job. It's not personal. You can still hang out with all your coworkers and friends from your job. It's just a business decision. You gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day. And that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. If you want a video just like this, please click here. If you want to see some of my other videos, please click here. And hey, don't forget to learn something new today.